Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to the Smackdown review. Yes, I'm not going to be reviewing AEW Rampage tonight. I'm recording this video and Rampage is still on. Rampage is absolutely awful tonight. Nothing happened, so I'm not covering Rampage tonight. So no review of it. I mean, what's the point? Nothing really happened on Rampage. But SmackDown tonight was from the Enterprise Center in St. Louis, Missouri. And this was the go-home show for FastLane, which is tomorrow night. And SmackDown was just a very meh show tonight. I mean, you had the Judgment Day on SmackDown tonight. You had Jey Uso on the show. You even had Cody Rhodes. Why are they on SmackDown when they are on Monday on Raw? But tonight on SmackDown, we had Charlotte Flair and Asuka versus Bailey and Eos. Of course, tomorrow night, we're going to see Eos defend her title against Charlotte Flair and Asuka in a triple threat match. We also saw Bobby Lashley versus Rey Mysterio. Dragon Lee, which he was quietly brought up to the main roster. So Dragon Lee took on Austin Theory. And the main event, we had Ellie Knight, versus Jimmy Uso. But overall, just a very meh SmackDown it was for a go-home show. But before I get into the review, thank you guys for coming into my live stream last night. Had a lot of fun. Thank you all to you guys for commenting and just spending an hour and 52 minutes on the stream. A whole lot of fun. So it was definitely a good time. But anyways, let's jump right into the review. SmackDown opened up tonight with Ellie Knight. So he ended up coming out, got a huge pop from the crowd there in St. Louis. So Ellie Knight got into the ring and he had a mic in hand, but he was about to speak and then he got interrupted by Jimmy Uso with Paul Heyman and Sikoa. So Paul Heyman was on the mic. He had saying for decades he has been able to spot who the next big thing will be. So you have going on to say that the next big megastar in this business is going to be Ellie Knight. So Paul Heyman ended up telling Knight that he is on a roll and that he has all the momentum in the world. Paul Heyman ended up saying that Knight has earned his respect and admiration. So the fans were chanting Ellie Knight, and Paul Heyman was like, oh, I hate that word, because they were chanting, So Paul Heyman ended up telling Knight that now that he has earned his attention, the Bloodline is going to have to do something about it. So the fans end up booing at Paul Heyman. Knight ended up asking Paul Heyman if he is done running his fat mouth yet. So Knight ended up telling Paul Heyman that he appreciates what he told him, but he didn't buy his bullshit. So Jimmy Uso got on the mic. He ended up telling Knight to shut his mouth. He ended up telling Knight that they have not been properly introduced. He ended up saying they are out here to tell his ugly face that he isn't making it to FastLane. So Jimmy ended up telling Sikoa to get into the ring. Both Jimmy and Solo got on the ring apron. And then John Cena ended up coming out. John Cena came running down. Cena and Knight ended up standing in the ring with the Bloodline on the ring apron. So the fans started chanting for Cena. Paul Heyman ended up telling Jimmy and Solo Sikoa to get down from the ring apron. Jimmy and Solo then walked down the ring steps, and Knight ended up telling them that they were excited for a fight, but he gets it. He ended up saying that they didn't have permission from their chief to come out. Knight ended up saying that he is thinking about tonight, so he ended up challenging Jimmy to a match. He ended up saying that way he can learn once and for all whose game it is, with everybody saying, L.A. Knight, yeah! So Jimmy ended up agreeing to the match. Paul Heyman was arguing with Jimmy, saying that, he has to speak to the tribal chief about it. So pretty much that was basically that. So, but I thought it was, a decent opening to SmackDown, with Ellie Knight coming out there. And, you have, the Bloodline, coming out. But this is set up for Cena and Ellie Knight versus Jimmy and Solo Sikoa tomorrow night at FastLane. And then we saw the Judgment Day backstage. They end up entering the arena. Damian Priest ended up asking why Jada McDonough is with them. And Rhea Ripley ended up telling Priest that she asked for JD to be here. So that was that. And then we had the first match of the night. Charlotte Flair and Asuka versus Bailey and Eos Sky. Of course, Bailey and Eos Sky were accompanied by Dakota Kai. And this was an okay match here, but Charlotte, Asuka, and Io, they're going to be in the triple threat match tomorrow at FastLane with Io putting her title on the line. Without a doubt, knowing WWE, they're going to take the title off of Io Sky and put it on Charlotte Flair. We all know that's probably going to happen tomorrow night. And then when it happens, God forbid, we're all going to start groaning like, what title reign is this for Charlotte? But the match got underway. Charlotte and Io started off. Charlotte and Asuka, teaming. And, it's the whole Vince McMahon thing of like, can they coexist? So Charlotte delivered a waistlock takedown on Io. She ended up going for a backdrop, but Io ended up landing on her feet. Io then ended up running to the ropes, but Charlotte delivered a backbreaker to Io. Charlotte ended up going for the cover. Io kicked out. Asuka was then tagged in, and she ended up hitting Io with chops to her chest. Asuka ended up going for a kick. Io ducked, and Io rolled Asuka up, and Asuka kicked out. Io then locked in a headlock on Asuka. Io ended up going to tag in Bayley, but Asuka ended up getting out of the headlock, and she ended up taking Io down. Asuka then threw Io into the corner. She ended up going for a kick, but Bayley ended up moving Io out of the way, and Asuka ended up hitting Bayley with a kick. So then SmackDown went to commercial. Then when SmackDown came back from the commercial, Bayley was in control of the match. She delivered a snap suplex to Asuka. She ended up going for the cover, and Asuka kicked out. Io then ended up tagging in. She ended up getting Asuka into a body scissor. And then Io tagged Bayley in, and we had Bayley end up hitting Asuka with some right hands. Bayley then slammed Asuka back into the corner, stomping away on her. Bayley then knocked Charlotte off the ring apron. Io ended up tagging in, so Bayley and Io double teamed up on Asuka, and Io ended up going for the cover. Charlotte broke up the pin. Asuka delivered some right hands to Io, but Io delivered a kick to Asuka. So Io ended up throwing Asuka into the corner. Asuka then ended up knocking Bayley down. Io then ended up hitting Asuka with an uppercut. Io ended up running to the ropes, but Asuka delivered a big kick, which took Io down. So Charlotte and Bayley both end up tagging in. So Charlotte and Bayley went at it. Charlotte delivered a right hand to Bayley. Charlotte then climbed up the top rope. She ended up delivering a crossbody to Bayley. Charlotte then delivered a chop to Bayley's chest. Io ended up coming in, but Charlotte ended up throwing Io across the ring. Charlotte then delivered a modified neckbreaker onto Bayley. And then she went and delivered a clothesline that took Bayley out. So Charlotte ended up going for the cover. Bayley ended up kicking out. Asuka then tagged in. Asuka then placed Bayley on the top rope. Asuka then got on the second rope. Charlotte tagged herself in. So Charlotte then climbed the second rope. Dakota Kai then distracted the ref. So Io got into the ring. She ended up powerbombing Charlotte and Asuka down as they ended up suplexing Bayley down. So Charlotte and Bayley got to their feet. Charlotte ended up hitting Bayley with a big boot. She ended up going for the cover, but Io ended up hitting Charlotte with the Meteora. Bayley ended up getting up. She ended up throwing Charlotte into the ropes, but Charlotte delivered a big boot to Bayley. Asuka then grabbed Bayley, and Charlotte ended up going to hit Bayley with a big boot, but Bayley ducked, and Charlotte accidentally delivered a big boot to Asuka. So Bayley then ended up hitting Charlotte with a knee to her face. She ended up grabbing Charlotte. She ended up going for the figure eight, but Charlotte ended up kicking Bayley away, and Bayley ended up knocking Io off the ring apron. Charlotte then ended up hitting Bayley with the natural selection. Charlotte ended up going for the cover, and there you go. Charlotte Flair and Asuka ended up winning this women's tag team match. Overall, match was okay, but we're going to be seeing the triple threat tomorrow at FastLane. And like I said, without a doubt, WWE is going to take the title off of Io and put it on Charlotte. And then we saw the Bloodline backstage. Paul Heyman, Jimmy Uso, and Solo Sikoa. Paul Heyman ended up telling Jimmy that he can't authorize the match without getting approval from the tribal chief, Roman Reigns. So Jimmy ended up telling Paul Heyman that Roman is never here. So the Bloodline ended up entering their locker room, and they ended up seeing the Judgment Day sitting down. Jimmy ended up telling the Judgment Day that they are in the wrong locker room. So Balor ended up telling Jimmy that they are exactly where they are supposed to be. So pretty much that was basically that. And as SmackDown came back from the commercial, the Judgment Day and the Bloodline were face to face. Rhea ended up telling everyone to get out, as her and Paul Heyman need to talk. So Damian Priest and Solo Sikoa, they remained face to face with each other. Rhea ended up telling Damian Priest that she will be fine. Priest then left the room. So as Paul Heyman ended up telling Solo Sikoa that he can leave. So pretty much that was that. And then we had Bobby Lashley versus Rey Mysterio. We had the Street Profits out there. We had, the LWO, Joaquin Wilde, Cruz del Toro, Santos Escobar, Zelina Vega out there. And this was a good match. Really enjoyed this match between Lashley and Mysterio. Both guys worked really well here. So the match got underway. Lashley ended up delivering a shoulder tackle, which knocked Rey down. Lashley then started delivering some right hands as he threw Rey into the ropes. Rey then delivered a kick and some right hands to Lashley. Rey then went to the ropes, but Lashley delivered a kick to Rey. Lashley then lifted Rey up. Rey landed on his feet, and he ended up kicking Lashley. Rey then delivered a moonsault off the second rope onto Lashley. He ended up going for the cover, and Lashley ended up kicking out. Lashley then ended up running towards Rey, as Rey ended up lowering the top rope. Lashley then fell to the outside. So then as SmackDown came back from the commercial, Lashley locked in a bear hug on Rey. Rey delivered some elbows to Lashley's face, but Lashley slammed him into the turnbuckle, and Lashley ended up getting Ray in the bear hug again. Ray then started delivering some headbutts to Lashley, but Lashley delivered a knee to Ray. Lashley then slammed Ray into the turnbuckle, and again ended up getting Ray in the bear hug. Ray then delivered a right hand to Lashley, and he ended up getting out of the bear hug. Ray was on the ring apron, and he ended up hitting Lashley with a kick to his face. He then climbed the top rope, but Lashley delivered a right hand to Ray, and Ray was in the Tree of Woe. Lashley then delivered some kicks and some shoulder tackles to Ray. Lashley ended up going for a spear, but Ray ended up lifting himself up, and Lashley ended up hitting the ring post. Ray then delivered a seated senton off the top rope to Lashley, and then Ray delivered a drop kick as he ended up running to the ropes, but Lashley ended up catching him. Lashley ended up going for a power slam, but Ray ended up reversing that into a DDT. Ray ended up going for the cover, and Lashley ended up kicking out. So Lashley was in the corner as Ray ended up climbing the second rope, and he ended up hitting Lashley with some right hands. Later on in the match where Ray ended up going for the 619, Lashley ended up catching him by his legs. Ray was on the ring apron, and Lashley ended up hitting him with a right hand. Ray then ended up falling to the outside in front of the Profits. So Lashley ended up going to the outside. He threw Ray into the barricade and into the ring. Lashley then threw Escobar over the barricade. Ray was going for a suicide dive, but Lashley ended up catching him. Ray landed on his feet. He ended up pushing Lashley into the ring post. Lashley then rolled into the ring, and Ray delivered a 619 to Lashley. Ray then drop kicked Lashley. Lashley ended up falling into the second rope, and Ray then ended up hitting Lashley with the 619. Ray then climbed the top rope, but Montez Ford got on the ring apron. Cruz del Toro ended up dragging him down, so both the Profits and the LWO were fighting on the outside. Ray then delivered a seated senton onto Dawkins on the outside. Ray got back into the ring. Lashley ended up hitting Ray with the spear. So Lashley ended up going for the cover, and there you go. Bobby Lashley ended up winning the match. Overall, this was a good match between Lashley and Ray. Very physical match here between these two. And then we saw Rhea Ripley and Paul Heyman. Rhea Ripley ended up telling Paul Heyman that he is the wise man and to make the wise decision. Rhea ended up telling Heyman that they are stronger together, the Judgment Day and the Bloodline. So Paul Heyman ended up telling Rhea that he likes it. He thinks it is brilliant, and he is kind of upset that he didn't think of it himself. He ended up saying that this is really good, and if she will excuse him, he will make a phone call and get it authorized by, of course, the tribal chief, Roman Reigns. Rhea then lowered Paul Heyman's phone, and Paul Heyman ended up saying that he needs to get it authorized by his tribal chief. So Rhea ended up saying that she understands and that it is authorized. So Paul Heyman ended up saying for the Judgment Day, not the Bloodline. So Rhea ended up telling Paul Heyman to acknowledge her, which got a whoa from the crowd. So Paul Heyman ended up looking around. He ended up telling Rhea that she is in the wrong locker room to say something like that. So Rhea ended up telling Paul Heyman that he will acknowledge her, just like his old boy, Jey Uso, acknowledged her. And she ended up saying that if not, we will find out who is stronger, the Judgment Day or the Bloodline. So Rhea ended up telling Paul Heyman that he is authorized to make his phone call. So Rhea got up and walked away. So then Paul Heyman was like, call Roman Reigns. And so that was that. But really like this a little sit down with Rhea Ripley and Paul Heyman here. And then we had Austin Theory versus Dragon Lee. Dragon Lee, it was quietly called up to the main roster, and he is just great in the ring, Dragon Lee. And this was an okay match here, with Austin Theory and Dragon Lee. So before the match got underway, Austin Theory got on the mic. He kept saying they are all in the presence of greatness because of him. He kept saying that he has been icons, role models, and that he is such a nice guy. He even said he even let Dwayne share the ring with him. He kept saying that he is the 150 million hitman. So he kept saying as soon as the bell rings, Dragon Lee will experience him live. So the match got underway. Dragon Lee delivered a right hand to Theory. He up run to the ropes. He up landed a Hurricanrana onto Theory. Dragon Lee ended up kicking Theory into the corner and kicked him in the face. So Dragon Lee ended up going for the cover, and Theory ended up kicking out. So Grayson Waller's music ended up hitting. Grayson Waller came out, which distracted Dragon Lee. So Theory delivered a right hand from behind to Dragon Lee. Theory then ran towards Dragon Lee, but Dragon Lee moved out of the way, ended up hitting Theory with a drop kick. So Dragon Lee ended up going for the cover, and Theory ended up kicking out. Dragon Lee then delivered a snap German suplex to Theory, as Theory ended up rolling to the outside. Waller got on the ring apron and distracted Dragon Lee as Theory rolled into the ring, and he hit Dragon Lee with a drop kick. And then as SmackDown came back from the commercial, Dragon Lee was in control of the match. He delivered a super kick to Theory. Dragon Lee delivered a forearm to Theory's face. So we had Dragon Lee end up delivering a kick to Theory's face, and he delivered a drop kick to Theory in the corner. He ended up going for the cover, and Theory ended up kicking out. Dragon Lee then ended up grabbing Theory, and Theory delivered a right hand to Dragon Lee. Theory then lifted Dragon Lee up and slammed him neck first onto his knee. Theory ended up going for the cover, and Dragon Lee ended up kicking out. You had, at one point, Dragon Lee ended up climbing the top rope, and Grayson Waller distracted him, to which Theory knocked Dragon Lee down. He ended up going for the cover, and Dragon Lee ended up kicking out. Grayson Waller then ended up grabbing Theory and to the outside, as Dragon Lee ended up landing a senton onto both Waller and Theory. Dragon Lee then ended up throwing Theory into the ring. Waller then ended up attacking Dragon Lee as the referee was distracted. So Theory ended up going for the 8-town down, and Cameron Grimes, to the moon, ended up jumping the barricade. He ended up throwing Grayson Waller into the ring post, and that distracted Austin Theory. So Dragon Lee ended up rolling Theory up, and there you go. Dragon Lee ended up winning the match. Overall, this was an okay match between Dragon Lee and Austin Theory here. And then we went backstage, and we saw Rey Mysterio end up telling Santos Escobar and Zelina Vega that there's no way that Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wilde will be able to compete tomorrow. So Escobar was in pain. Rey ended up telling them that he will make a phone call. So that was basically that. Main event: Jimmy Uso versus Ellie Knight. And this was just a meh match here. So the match ended up getting underway. Ellie Knight then delivered a kick and a headlock on Jimmy Uso. Knight ended up going to the ropes. He ended up knocking Jimmy down with a shoulder tackle. We had Jimmy end up delivering a kick to Ellie Knight and locked in a headlock. So he ended up running to the ropes. He ended up knocking Ellie Knight down with a shoulder tackle. Jimmy then delivered a kick to Knight's face as he ended up running towards Knight, but Knight ended up hitting Jimmy with a power slam. Knight ended up going for the cover, and Jimmy ended up kicking out. Knight ended up throwing Jimmy to the ropes, but Jimmy delivered a kick to Knight. So we had Jimmy end up going for a super kick, but Knight ended up moving out of the way. Knight ended up going for the blunt force trauma, but Jimmy rolled out of the ring. Knight went to the outside, and he ended up throwing Jimmy back into the ring. Knight got into the ring, and Jimmy ended up hitting Knight with a kick to the side of his head, and Knight ended up falling to the outside. Jimmy then went to the outside. He ended up hitting Knight with a super kick, and then SmackDown went to commercial. Then as SmackDown came back from the commercial, Knight ended up delivering a body slam to Jimmy in the middle of the ring. He ended up running to the ropes. He ended up pinning elbow onto Jimmy. Sikoa then ended up getting to the ring, and he ended up attacking Knight from behind, and the ref ended up calling for the bell. So Ellie Knight won the match by disqualification, by DQ. So post-match, John Cena ended up running down to the ring. John Cena ended up grabbing Sikoa and threw him to the outside. Sikoa and Jimmy were on the outside, and the fans were chanting Cena. And so the Judgment Day ended up coming out. The Judgment Day walked down to the ring. So the Judgment Day and the Bloodline were face-to-face at ringside. Paul Heyman then extended his hand, and he told Rhea authorized. So Paul Heyman and Rhea shook hands. Ellie Knight and John Cena standing in the ring. The fans were chanting for Cody. So the Bloodline and the Judgment Day got on the apron. And we had Jey Uso end up coming out. He got into the ring. He stood alongside Cena and Knight. And then Cody's music ended up hitting. Cody ended up running down to the ring. He stood alongside Cena, Knight, and Jey Uso. Paul Heyman ended up telling Sikoa to step down as he walked down the ring steps. But a fight ended up breaking out. A brawl broke out. You had Jey, Cody, and Cena end up taken out of the Bloodline of Judgment Day. Cody ended up hitting a suicide dive onto the outside. Jey jumped over the top rope and landed on the Judgment Day, took them out. Cena stood in the ring, and in came Solo Sikoa. So both Cena and Sikoa were face-to-face. So Cena delivered a right hand, but Solo Sikoa delivered a super kick, knocking Cena into the corner. In came Ellie Knight. Sikoa ended up going for the Samoan spike to Knight, but Knight ended up ducking, and he clotheslined Sikoa to the outside. Jaden McDonough got into the ring. Knight ended up hitting McDonough with the blunt force trauma. Jey then ended up hitting McDonough with the super kick, and Cena ended up slamming McDonough onto the mat. Of course, that's when Cena did his, you can't see me. And then he laid in the 5-knuckle shuffle to McDonough. So Cena picked up McDonough. Cena then ended up hitting the AA to McDonough. And then Cody ended up hitting McDonough with the crossroads. And we had Cena, Knight, and Jey Uso, and Cody Rhodes stand in the ring as SmackDown went off the air. So pretty much what they did here was WWE set you up for possibly, the Bloodline and the Judgment Day, maybe, Jey Uso and, Cody Rhodes, are they setting up for War Games at Survivor Series with this? Maybe. So it's the preview of what's to come for next month at War Games Survivor Series. Yes, WWE is bringing War Games, back for Survivor Series this year. So, like I said, are we looking at War Games between these guys? Maybe. But overall, SmackDown tonight, just a very meh show was for a go-home show. But FastLane is looking okay tomorrow night, but we'll see. But anyways, that's it for the SmackDown review. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this review. Definitely give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all tomorrow night for FastLane. So, see you all then.